Joining me right now is undefeated UFC heavyweight. He's on the come up. Tai Tuivasa. What's going on? Welcome to Kumite Radio.
Thank you for having me, guys. What's happening?
So good. Now before we talk about your debut, at UFC Sydney, I want to kind of go back and talk about like how you got your start.
So I was playing rugby league, which is one of our national sports over here in Australia, and I just got to a point where I didn't have the passion for it anymore, and just my heart wasn't in it. You know what I mean? So and I was fighting at the time. I had my first fight at 17 as well. So I just got to a bit of a crossroad, and I followed my heart, and I went with the fighting, and still, even after I picked fighting, I had a couple of years, where I was a bit, on the off the rails or doing what I was doing and stuff. But yeah, and then I got told that I was having a kid, so I thought, this is time where I should just really knuckle down and give it a crack.
Sounds good. Yeah, a kid could change your life real quick, huh?
Oh, for sure, for sure. But by that time, I have already had a fight and already a few fights actually, and I already made a bit of a name for myself in Australia. So by then I had a few fights, and it was just really up to them to cut the weight and then have those bigger fights and get them done. And the UFC contract was waiting for me.
For sure. Now, how many kids you got?
Just one.
Just one?
I think.
How you think?
Nah, just one, my man.
Just one. So I think I saw that you just spent your first Christmas with your child. How was that?
Yeah. It was awesome. He had it was cool. He had an awesome Christmas at home with the family, and yeah, he's probably not going to remember it, but it's a start. So yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Now
this time last year, I couldn't walk or couldn't move pretty much. So yeah, times are changing and all for the better.
For sure. Now moving on, fast forwarding, your to your debut last November. You put shockwaves through the MMA world with the flying knee, but kind of not really a flying knee, like you said. But yeah, it showed a new aspect. I think another level. And it's an example of like the newer generation that's coming up, especially for heavyweights, where a heavyweight can go in there and fly with his knee and knock you out. What did you like when you watch it again? How do you assess your performance?
I think I did. I think I did pretty well. I was calm. Yeah. So, considering I hadn't fought for a whole year and a bit, I think I did all right. Of course, there was a few things, that I could probably tweak up, like my suplex from Doom that was not really a suplex, and a few stuff like that. But other than that, it was all good. I took my time and I wasn't nervous or anything. I don't really get nervous much, but just a bit of ring rust. And I think this time, come Feb 11, I should be a bit more prepared and of course just try and come up with something better.
Yeah, you in your interviews and in the cage and during the fight, you didn't seem nervous at all. You actually seemed comfortable there. You actually seemed like you belonged there.
Yeah.
When you view it, what do you look at it as?
I think a lot of people are different, and some people, they shear away under the lights and stuff like that. But I think the fighting, I get a bit like that at training. The training is my hard spot, and to keep at it and keep coming every day and to keep. That's where I'm not struggle, but I that's my hardship in this whole thing. The fighting and in front of the fans and stuff. I think that's a bit of my, that's my reward for it all. That's my, that's the light at the end of the tunnel, and I get to. I wouldn't. Why would you train so hard and you don't get to put it on show in front of everyone? That's how I think about it. And yeah, and I feel real comfortable when I'm throwing punches. I suppose.
Now it's just the beginning too. So as you fight more, the fans are gonna grow. Your stardom will grow. So you're just gonna take it all in and love it as it comes, right?
yeah, that's it. Just take one fight at a time and crawl my way up to the top. And that's the plan, and that has been the plan for a little bit now. So
Yeah, in your last camp, I know you went out to Thailand for a while before fighting, and then now you're in the Gulf Coast, which usually you're out there doing your camps, right?
yeah. I'm usually in Thailand. I love Thailand. I'm actually going there after the fight. Yeah, this time we're as you know, I'm with Mark Hunt's camp as well, and we've been a bit of a crew for about 4 or 5 years now. So we may as well stay together, and you know, it's always good, training with a group, and especially guys the same weight. And yeah, and probably possibly couldn't probably get any better sparring partners than the horse himself.
For sure. Now, I wanted to ask you, why do you call him the horse?
Well, just like he's like the lead horse, the one at the front of the carriage, and they're usually the strongest of the bunch, and he's been doing it. He's not only has he fought, the best guys. He's been fighting for 22 years at the highest level, and that's even if I never even got to know him, that's something to take your hat off to, and I call, people like John Wayne Parr, he's a horse. Like, these guys are 42, 43 years old, and they're going out there kicking, they're kicking ass. It's awesome. I love it, and nice aspire to, hopefully, hopefully not be 300 kilos at 43 years old,
For sure, for sure.
sitting on the lounge. You know what I mean? And they're out there doing it.
So you do got some great mentors out there, like you just mentioned, Mark Hunt, John Wayne Parr, legend in Muay Thai.
Yeah.
Now, is your final goal is to become a horse?
Of course, of course. I want to be well. That's why I think I'm very fortunate. I've been under Mark's wing and been with Mark and got to watch him, and not only him, just the OGs of Australia, James Tahuna
Hmm.
and the Huna Brothers. They're who I started MMA with. They're the guys I first started fighting with, and guys at that, I've seen different careers. I've seen one, and I've seen others, and now it's just up to me what I pick and choose from what I take on, and that dictates my path that I'm going to take. But of course, I want to be. Once you become the best, I think you become a horse. You know what I mean? You just and of course, Mark's on his way out. He's only got 6 fights left, and I'm just starting. So I want to. I want to be able to. I want to be prepared to take the reins and put it on and run with it.
For sure. Passing the torch is a big responsibility, right? So
Of course.
you are the next guy. Everybody, it's very clear to everybody in the world, everybody in MMA, that you're the next guy coming out of Australia. Now, UFC 221 main card status, pay-per-view. You, Mark Hunt, Tyson Pedro, all you guys, Polynesians, repping hard. What does that mean to all of you guys? I know you could probably speak for your training partners a little bit.
Oh, it's massive. It's especially for myself. I was a bit gutted that obviously Tyson wasn't on the Sydney card, and then Mark was, and then he got pulled off. So I was gutted. You know what I mean? And I thought, I probably won't be able to, especially after Mark's stint. I was probably thinking, I'm probably never going to be able to fight in the UFC with my man ever again. But like they say, like things happen for a reason, and now look, we got one of the best cards Australia, for Australians. There's still people say, oh, it's not a good card because there's not people from overseas, but we are the best guys in Australia, and we are taking over, and this is going to be the start of a UFC 221, and people are going to see it.
For your opponent, right, Cyril Asker, he was not like the original guy that was asked to take you on. I know there was a bunch of guys that were called, 6 guys I heard. They all declined you, and of course people know why they would decline you. You know what I mean? But like, what does that say about the heavyweight division that they're already ducking you when you only got one fight?
I don't know. Like I say to people, it's up to them, and this is a cutthroat industry, and I understand, but then I also think, fuck, why are you fighting? Why are we fighting? I'm not afraid to lose. I just want to fight the best guys and challenge myself. But that's the sport, you know what I mean? People can say no, and at the end of the day, we're all going to run into each other sooner or later, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and keep knocking them off the list and just go from there.
For sure. Now your opponent, Asker, he was brave enough to take you on and sign the
Yes.
contract. Now he is mostly a guy that goes in there, takes his opponents to the ground, and submits them or grounds and pounds them out. You like to stand and take them out off their feet. The
Yeah.
clash of styles. So what do you expect from him? Do you expect the same strategy?
Um, you know, everyone. At the end of the day, it's a fight, and we're both going to get punched in the head, and we're both obviously, that's his style. He's going to try and stick to it, and I'm obviously not going to go out there and try and pull guard or anything like that. But I think it's time for me to show a few people that I'm going to run into these guys sooner or later, and I understand they're good on the ground, but you got to get me to the ground first, and then it's about it's just about fighting. I think you know what I mean. It's a fight, so I like I said, I'm training myself and I'm getting prepared in all ways. You know what I mean. I've got Soul the Hulk. He's one of the best guys that used to be in the UFC, and he's a big person and he's a black belt jiu-jitsu fighter himself. So I've got guys like him on me every day, and I'm preparing. So I'm not just going to rock up, with nothing. So he's got to be prepared as well.
For sure. Now, when you look at him, do you see him as a good test to kind of prove to the people that you're not just a guy that's just gonna sit there? You could get taken down, you could get back up. Is this something that you can prove in that matchup?
Yeah, for sure. But if all goes well, I want to do a Bam Bam style and get it over and done with, and just keep proving people wrong, and just keep, big fuck you to everybody.
Well, like if anybody's seen you fight, they of course see the great movement. You're very light on your feet. Is that something that has always been with you? Is that natural?
Yeah, well, my mother's Aboriginal and my father's Samoan, so I think yeah, I'm just blessed with some good genes. I used to run 13s, 14s in the 100 when I was 100, 30 kilos. So I've always been pretty athletic for a fat guy. So that's why I call myself a fatleet, not an athlete. But yeah, yeah, I suppose it's also it's good for me, not so
Eh,
good for them.
What about the striking aspect of it? Did you pick up striking very quickly, or was it something that was an evolution?
Yeah, I've been fighting since before I learned how to fight. Like I grew up in an area where fighting was a bit of a bit of a natural thing for a lot of people. You either fight or get fought, I suppose, or you get a hiding. But yeah, my dad was a boxer, so I did a bit of boxing and learned a bit from my dad, and then obviously the legs and stuff come into it. But yeah, I've always been pretty comfortable with exchanges some hands. That's for sure.
For sure. Last question before I let you go. You signed a 4-fight deal with the UFC. You have 1 fight down, 3 to go. Where do you see yourself at the end of this contract? After the 4 fights.
Well, as we know, I think the heavyweight division's real steep. As in, first we don't have like 100 people. And second, I don't think there's that many good ones. But at the end of this, after the end of the contract, I hope to see myself at least in the top 15 and just chasing on the top 10 tail.
Well, you could catch Tai Tuivasa at UFC 221 on the pay-per-view portion against Cyril Asker, February 11th. Thanks for your time, Tai, and
Thank you,
good
brother.
luck.
Take care, John. See you, mate.
All right.